Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Nobody, a Japanese thriller from 1999. Now, I had never heard of this film until I spotted it on my Netflix DVD rental service a few weeks ago. It was like in the recommended section, or maybe I searched a name or another movie and it came up. And it had some recognizable faces in the lead roles, so I decided to check it out. So three businessmen, all right, played by Masaya Kato, Riki Takeuchi, and Hideo Nakano, are having some after-work beverages at a nice bar. They get into a war of words with another table of businessmen, one of whom is played by Kenichi Endo. Now, they eventually back down from their argument, all right, but on their way out of the bar, Hideo Nakano's character gets roughed up by these guys. So Riki and Masaya get justifiably pissed off, and they decide to retaliate against these other businessmen. But they quickly realize that their opponents are basically psychopaths, and their nightmare has only just begun. So it's ironic that I discovered Nobody just recently, because I have been on a streak of rewatching some, slow burn Japanese thrillers from the 90s and early 2000s. Just in the past few months I've reviewed Cure, Angel Dust, and Chaos. And Nobody really does fit in nicely with that trend, because despite the straightforward storytelling, which is very simplistic when compared to the aforementioned films, this film does have the same feeling of quiet uneasiness to it. It's deliberately paced, but it does a good job of creating a sense of anxiety, suspense, and tension, because our protagonists are normal dudes who are in a situation that spirals out of control. They get harassed by these other guys, and they're not sure when these other businessmen are going to strike, or if they're going to strike. You know what I mean? And in some ways, Nobody is kind of a slower-paced Japanese version of Time to Hunt, the Korean film I recently reviewed. Only this film doesn't really have much action to it. It's more of, like I said, a slow-burn thriller. Now, I've said it before on this channel, I'm a huge fan of Masaya Kato. As an actor, I think his charisma is through the roof. I could watch this guy in anything. So his presence as the lead of this film is a big plus for me. I really liked him in this. Riki Takeuchi, who's been in a bunch of stuff over the years, he plays a character who talks tough, and he'll step up to other people who give him attitude, which is similar to some of his other popular film roles. Now, he does not take crap from anyone, and he acts as the driving force to immediately escalate this conflict. It could have died down at some point, but Riki is such a hothead, he kind of kicks the beehive, he kicks the bear a few too many times. And then we have this other actor, Hideo Nakano, who I'm not that familiar with. He plays the more reserved and timid businessman of our three leads. So I kind of like the dynamic between these guys, because their personalities kind of balance each other out. So it's pretty good stuff. And as I previously mentioned, Kenichi Endo is basically one of the villains, so to speak. This other group of businessmen. And he gives a pretty intimidating performance. He's not a guy I would mess with. He's just got a certain demeanor about him. It's kind of, it's I don't want to mess with this dude. The lesson I learned from this movie is just walk away. If something's going down, just walk away, guys, because it's not worth it. But I like how the script gives us a little bit of insight into defining who these antagonists are exactly. It seems at first that it's going to take a more commonplace approach, these guys are criminals, or these guys are this or that, but it doesn't really take the obvious choice. And the ultimate explanation for these guys, these psychopaths, is fairly unconventional. They don't explain it in detail too much, but it's thought-provoking when they give you the explanation, and it provides a little bit of social commentary on Japanese society. The film is shot very atmospherically, some nicely tinted color schemes at night. If you're a subscriber to this channel, I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. There's a lot of blue that's used during the nighttime scenes in this film. And then you have some warmer colors like oranges and reds that are kind of splashed in at times. There's something visually compelling about Tokyo urban settings at night. and those visuals are captured quite well in this film. But remember, I'm talking pretty highly about this film, but remember, it's not a high-octane thriller or action flick. It's pretty deliberate. It's slower paced, kind of creepy at times. But I really like the conflict between our protagonists and the bad guys. I was satisfied when the film ended. And the ending, at first, might seem a little bit confusing to you, but it really isn't. Just take a few minutes, think about it, and it's pretty easy to kind of figure out what happened there. So, as much as I enjoyed this film, I do kind of get the feeling when I was watching this that some people will not enjoy it as much as I did, if only because it's a bit of a slower film. But I definitely recommend it. I recommend Nobody. And this film completely flew under my radar for years, but I'm glad I found it recently. It's currently available on Region 1 DVD in the United States, and if you still have the Netflix DVD service, the DVD mail-at-home service, it's available on there as well. And as always, we'll see you next time.